First of all, anybody who lets this generation of modern women con you into paying 100% of the bills is a fool, in my opinion. And I'm going to tell you why. Bear with me for a second. Because I have a traditional mindset in many regards. Traditional mindset for traditional women. But what is traditionalism? And what are the women that are in front of us? We're talking about today's modern women. One of the things that is so different today than maybe 100 years ago or so is that we have this thing with feminism. One of the downsides of feminism happened with the sexual revolution, sexual freedom. The hormonal birth control was there. Sexual liberation was a factor where they really tried to get away from any shame or any of this patriarchal control or control. My body, my choice. Fine, great. Your body, your choice. We respect it. Obviously, men, when we were leading, we protected our daughters. We protected their virtues. We protected them from being ran through for many reasons. One, many things, including STDs, unwanted pregnancies, getting into relationships with dysfunctional or abusive men. Those were the factors, those were the benefits of having fathers protect their daughters. People are going to start saying this narrative of abuse, this color purple narrative, the abusive men, yada, yada, yada. Far and few between. Very few men carried those characteristics and traits. There were some bad men, but the majority of men were good moral men that protected their daughters, protected their families, protected their communities. So the outliers, the exceptions and the outliers don't make the rule. But women didn't want to be under the leadership of men. They wanted to be free. They saw it as they were brainwashed into believing that that was oppression. Corporate-sponsored feminism, government empowerment, and this new agenda of, strong and independent that came forward after the 60s and 65 especially with the Great Society and the Black community. So we ended up with a different type of woman, a more liberated woman, a woman that wanted her freedom, sexual freedom, her economic freedom. All that is fine and wonderful. But here's the problem that we have with many of the women that are Miss Strong and Independent is that these same women that enjoyed their sexual freedom, enjoyed strong and independent, they don't need no man, now are coming back to the table. Maybe they've rebranded themselves and found Jesus and got back into the church and realized that feminism was a con by corporations and the top 2% to keep women spending, and because women do 80% of the spending. Now they're coming back to the table and telling men, hey, we want to get some traditionalism back. I want you to be a traditional man. Well, I'm going to hit you with a couple of Bible verses about men being the provider. Notice there's always one side. It's always about you and what you need to be doing for them and how you're not a real man if you're not paying 100% of the bills, because that's what real men do. And you have some simps and some panda bear, or the dude who finally, like Boyce Watkins, finally got the chick from 20, like when she's in her 20s who curbed him. Now she's, up in her later years, Xinyu women, which is leftover women in China, older. Now he finally get a taste of it, and he's like, finally, I got her. After everybody else have enjoyed her, and she's like, okay, I finally take this guy for security. And he's going to come in here and lecture men about our responsibility as men. Kick rocks. We ain't listening to that garbage. So you have all these Xinyu women coming to the table after enjoying sexual liberation, after enjoying sexual freedom, after being vigorously, viciously pounded out by multiple men, babies by other men, imprints by other men, trauma by other men. I mean, tell me, I used to be a college athlete. You see me in this car? I'm like 6'7", 6'8". So I've been there in them college dorms. I've listened to them, the drywall, the room next to me erupt and shaking as pleasures are exchanged and pounding is going on in the damn bed. I'm like, damn, bro, take it easy over there. You know, leave some for the rest of the dudes. I've been there. I've seen it. I take the fifth on me experiencing it myself. I take the fifth on many things. Anyhow, what I'm trying to say is this. The problem with sexual liberation is, and the problem with men being asked. See, this is a problem with responsibility with authority. That's the first problem. Because many of these women they want to be under a man's wallet. They don't want to be under his leadership. They don't want you telling them what to do. You better not judge them, especially if they found the church. Remember I talk about fake talkers, sinful walkers. They hit you with about 10 scriptures. You demonic person. You don't respect. You don't want to be a man. Men are supposed to provide and protect. We're not supposed to look at the fact that you've had 3 babies already. You have about 50 bodies on you. You've been sleeping around. That's not traditionalism. It's a scam. So they're trying to use this religious, traditional rebranding shit to get you guys to pay 100% of the bills. And some sucker sim who's thirsty as hell is going to go sign up for that deal. And that's his prerogative and that's his business, what he want to do. But the question becomes, what are you getting at the end of that rainbow? She's not going to listen to you. She's not going to respect you. And she's been imprinted by the guy who used to deadlift 500 pounds on the football team. And every time he walks past her, whew, she gets the shivers. And that's why these guys end up in these sexless marriages and get up in these relationships with these women. They desire the man. Women don't lose their taste in men. They just they just upgrade their taste in lifestyles. That's all. They still like the same dudes, but that dude ain't giving them the lifestyle they want. So they don't change their taste in men. They change their taste in lifestyle. And a lot of guys don't understand that, so they don't change. So the question becomes this, and why I think it's so disrespectful nowadays, because now what you're seeing is these old ass women getting BBLs and trying to compete with the younger version of themselves. But they see themselves as the 23. They don't see any depreciation from sexual liberation. They've been out here working for 20 years, 20, 30 years, having sex, having multiple marriages and baby deletions and everything else. They see no depreciation. They see themselves as the 23-year-old, fresh, brand new version of themselves. And they're going to tell you that you need to pay all their bills because you ain't a man. You ain't a man. They ain't checking. They don't care about the odomina on their body because look, if you ask about that odomina, guess what? You're insecure. You're a weak man. You're a weak man. You're an insecure, weak man. You can't handle a real woman. Why you worry about what another man has done? You probably got a little Johnson. You're probably broke and whatever else. You'll see them. They're all caked up with makeup on their face, eyelashes, everything else going on. And they be talking that goofy stuff. And some sucker is going to pay 100% of the bills. Look, I'm a reasonable man. Women got to pay for depreciation. You got trauma. You've got high body count. You've been strong and independent all these years. You're not a traditional woman. You can go in church all day long, pray all day long, whatever else. In the words of Corey Holcomb, you can't delete the skeet. You can't rebrand. You can't put that back in a brand new package and put it back on the shelf and sell it for brand new price, which is marriage, a long-term commitment. You may get the guy that'll marry you, but he's not the guy you want. And look here, I want these women to be successful, but what's happening is nobody that they want is really marrying them or getting with them. So they have to, deal with the consequences of allowing yourself to be indoctrinated into this feminism and sexual liberation. It's terrible. But the great insult for men is, I don't understand who falls for this. I mean, who's stupid enough to pay 100% of the bill for a woman that's been ran through, that's been strong and independent for all these years? What happened to your money? Why don't you have money in your 401k and your retirement accounts and your bank accounts and everything else? You've been out here working. I get it. Now, I can shame men. If you said that you some virtuous virgin, or, okay, I'll give you credit if you're a widow. You're a widow. You're a widow and your husband passed away. You have 2 kids and you're single. Bam. You say, "God, pay 100% of the bill." I'm with you on that. If you say that you're a virgin, hey, guy, look, very few of them out here. You're going to have to pay 100% of the bills. Do what you want. But you say you've been out here single for many years, had many different sexual partners, have cohabitated with many different men, box have been pounded vigorously and viciously over the years, and you want a guy to pay 100% of the bills? Had other men's kids, other men's DNA is floating in the fluids in your brain, and you want a man to pay 100% of your bills? Or you old? I'm old. Trust me. I know. That's why I don't, when I go down to the gym and I see the guys playing on basketball court, the young bucks running up and down that court, I take my old ass to the elliptical because that's where I belong. I don't be out here running with the young bucks. I know better. But they have the old out here running with these young boys, running with these damn young boys, well, yeah, these young girls, thinking you one of them, thinking that you deserve the same thing a 23-year-old virgin deserves, which is marriage and long-term relationship. And that's the fundamental flaw that in the whole logic. And anybody, any dude that's going to pay 100% for a woman that is mind molested him and religious gaslight him and or whatever, seduced him into being that dude, you're not going to get any cooperation. You're not going to get any, you're going to get a feminist pretending to be religious, pretending to be virtuous, pretending to give a rat's ass about anything other than the security that comes from your bank account and your resources. Because she doesn't care about you. You're just the last pick of the draft. And you're the best option for provision and security. And what you're getting is nothing but leftover box and a headache. And most smart dudes have figured it out. And maybe they date them from across town. Maybe they just have companionship. Maybe they do whatever they do. But at the end of the day, if somebody falls for this goofy stuff out here in these streets, shame on you. Anyhow, it's time for me to go do some workout. I got legs today. I'm out.